Nathan.
Yo, spotted a dime at the corner of my eye. She got enough man on the line, back just poking like a knife.
What's up, you beautiful people of YouTube? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we've got a very different video. It's not going to be the usual sit down videos that I make on my channel because we're in a different location. As you can see, we're in a cabin in the Norwegian mountains and it took me ages to get here. I had to get a train 1 hour out of Oslo, which is the capital, and then I had to get a taxi which took like half an hour. It was like 8 miles to 10 miles up into the Norwegian mountains, which is where we are right now. There's one cabin to the right of me and then there's like nothing. I'm going to show you around in a second, as well as just what we've got planned for the day. It's not going to be the most exciting day, I just want to put that out there, but it is going to be very valuable nonetheless. Like, you see a lot of videos out there flashing this lifestyle, but in reality that's not really what entrepreneurship is. Like, I've come here to build in nature, and that is just what I care about more so than fast cars and, you know, a luxurious lifestyle that I just don't want to sell, because that isn't what I like, nor do I think you should aspire to materialistic things. So yeah, it's going to be a peaceful day, but we're going to be building, which is going to be sick, and I'll take you behind the scenes, show you what I get up to, and you'll find value in it for sure. So we're going to get a coffee, and then I'll probably just sit down and talk about what we've got planned for the day. So you're probably wondering, Charlie, what is on the agenda for today? Well, I need to do some fucking work. I actually need to lock in because I've been traveling a lot. My routine has been completely messed up. I haven't done as much work as I wanted to. Before I was in Norway, we went to Italy. I did a marathon in Rome. Before that, I was in England. Next I'm going to Dubai, and then I think Japan sometime in April. So very, very busy. So I need to try and work around this, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, we're going to do a growth lever task right now, which is something that's going to move the business forward, make you more revenue. And that is always what I recommend doing in the morning, because if you look at Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos and their work routines, they would essentially do the growth lever task whilst creativity is at its peak, which is always in the morning. So they would never have meetings before like 12 p.m. because those are light work activities. And when you are cognitively peaking in the morning, you obviously want to be doing the most direct revenue tasks, which could be creating content. So that's what I'm going to be doing in a second. I'm going to be recording some VSLs. I'm going to be, doing some other shit as well, just responding to team members, clients after that. So that's more light work. So I'm going to do the deeper work first, and yeah, we'll just go from there. I'll probably do a montage and then we'll go into town or something. So yeah. Okay, so we've just been working for most of the day, but as you can see, we are outside on a walk, and I'm actually going to go on a run in a second because there's no other way I can do exercise. So I'm going to put the bag down, go on a run. I've got my drone, so we're going to get some absolute sick shots. But the views are absolutely insane. Like, probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. So you're going to enjoy this. It's going to be a cinematic workout. But yeah, I'll probably just run like 5K or something light because I've got to hike back up here. So that's not ideal, but yeah, it's what it is. We'll get some steps in. Okay, so we just finished doing a tiny bit of running, not as much as I wanted because it's just downhill, so it's shit for your knees, and now I'm having to walk back up. So yeah, not ideal, but better than nothing. And I think just getting outdoors more is just a hack for a more fulfilling life. If you look at the top countries for happiness, you have like Finland, Norway, Sweden, they're all like top 10 pretty much. And I think my thesis is it's just because they get outdoors more. The average American spends, I think, 97% of their day inside. Whereas these countries, they do a lot more outdoor activities, running, skiing, as well as they have like saunas. So I think that is a big part of it. As well as if you have a constraint in your business, some more tactical shit. If you have a constraint in your business, I would honestly just put your phone down, no music, and just go on a run or a long walk, because it provides solitude and immense clarity, so you can solve that problem. And that's just what I found to work really well for me, as well as just like stuff that feels really hard in the moment pretty much always has a big payoff later on. So yeah, I mean, that's why I go for runs and do just activities. I used to lift a lot of weight, but I've actually found running now to be more of a fulfilling activity. That's why I was in Italy running a marathon. But yeah, anyway, I'm out of breath because this is fucking like steep as hell. But yeah, I'll probably meet you guys back at the cabin. I'll cook up some food in a few hours for dinner, so we'll probably catch up then, and I'll do a Q&A because I want you guys to get to know me more. I want to get a bit more personal, and most of you don't know my story. So yeah, I'll try and give you some context on me, as well as just provide value to you, because that's ultimately what these videos are about. I managed to grow this following just by pure value. Like, as I said at the start, I don't really show like supercars, stuff like that, and I don't need that to build my brand because I actually share value. So yeah, that's that. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with sharing cars, but you know what I mean. So that's what I'm going to do later in this evening. We'll have a sit down talk, and I'll probably catch you guys back at the cabin. Boom, we're back at the cabin, as you can see, and 23 hours ago I actually put an Instagram story out asking you guys to give me questions so I can answer them in the next 5-7 minutes or so, and just provide as much value as humanly possible, yeah, in the next 5 minutes. So there are quite a lot of questions, as you can see. I'm not going to do all of them because that'll take way too long, and who has time for that? I'm going to handpick 2 to 3 questions that I think would serve you best as a viewer, just to give you value, because as I said, I think that's what I do best. I don't really flash anything. It's just all from value. So I really like this question. It's from Arsh Il. Hopefully that's how you pronounce your name. I apologize, it's probably not. He said, how do you go from a few thousand per month to 10,000 per month as soon as possible? Now, I know you watching this, and you watching this probably aren't making any money. You probably have 0 clients and you want to get clients. So I'm going to change this question. I'm going to make it, how do you go from 0 to 10,000 per month as soon as possible? And to be honest, it's hard for me to sit here and tell you how to do this in 30 seconds, or even 2 minutes, or even 5 minutes. It's borderline impossible. And if anyone tells you they can, they're simply lying, because there's a lot of nuances into this. However, I can share how I did it and my experience from going from 0 to 10K per month. And it actually took me 45 days, but there's a big but, and it's a caveat. It took me 6 months to get to the point where I went from 0 to 10K per month in 45 days. So in reality, it was 0 to 10K per month in like 7-8 months. But once I cracked this, it was exponential. And that's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to give you my experience on how I did this. So if you don't know my story, about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, shit, I'm getting quite old. About 3 years ago, let's just say 3 years ago, I decided to not go to university, and I spent the next 6 months in my parents' basement sending cold DMs, doing cold emails, doing everything under the sun to try and get someone to give me money, right, online. So actually that sounds a bit sus. But you know what I mean. I tried everything. Yeah, anyway, so it didn't work. Nothing seemed to work. I was probably working 6 to 8 hours per day, but in retrospect, I was watching YouTube videos. I was doing other degenerate stuff that I probably shouldn't have been doing. And that was definitely a factor for why I didn't see results, because I think you do have to become the person deserving of success to be able to experience that reality. And most of you just don't deserve the success, nor should you want that, because I don't think you should get something and you're not having to deserve it, right? But nonetheless, what I did was I learned that it's not about what you say, it's about who you are. It's about market positioning. So what I did to solve the problem of not getting appointments, which is probably what's happening to you, is I positioned myself highly in the market. I did that through content assets. I did that through other forms of VSLs. And I think if you can speak, that is so much more convincing. It allows you to get your character across compared to you sitting behind a keyboard and just typing. So if you can send voice notes, if you can call up prospects in your niche, if you can create content, if you can educate your niche, that is the way in which you go about it. So to go from 0 to 10K per month as soon as possible, you have to experiment with a shit ton of things. You have to just go through that trial and error, be a scientist in a lab, just trying different shit. And then I cannot explain how easy it is to scale once you start making a little bit of money. So if you think about it, all you really need to do is get one person to give you the opportunity of you working with them. And then once you find a way of just getting one person to say yes to your offer, you then just double down. You just go crazy. You do not stop, because that will kill the momentum. You just double down. So that is the secret. You be a scientist, experiment, and you'll find one thing that will work. But also take that into consideration that it's so much easier just to speak, because
because right now we're in a trust crisis. Like, would you really give someone $2,000 who you've just seen an email from? No, right? So it's about social proof, which is done through followers and stuff like that. So I think it's hard if you don't have assets, if you don't have VSL. So yeah, just whatever you're trying to sell, create a working prototype, meaning create a concept, a proof of concept. Maybe you build it, have a conversation with it, record that, and then send it to your niche. Or just be more creative. Find where your niche hangs out, just have a conversation with them. And if you do that enough times, you track that data, you'll find what's working, what's not working. And it's just through that reiteration and adaptations that you'll see success. And then you double down, which is what I talked about. So that is kind of my best way of going about it. Hopefully that provided value, but let's move on to the next question. But I promise you guys, you will make it if you just stick through it. Like, the only way you lose in business, in my opinion, is by giving up. And the beautiful thing about the service-based business model, whether it's an agency, whether it's a content agency, whether it's consulting, is that it teaches you all the skills you need in life. It teaches you communication, it teaches you sales, how to fulfill, how to deal with people, relationship building. So if you just stick with this moat or this vehicle, you will see success. It's just about being persistent and reiterating and adapting what you're doing. So let's go for another question. Prish says, how much do you make per month? And to be honest, I've actually got no idea. I know it's somewhere between 50,000 per month and 100,000 per month. I don't think we've managed to crack 100K per month. We've gotten very close to it in top line revenue. But yeah, that's an indicator of where I'm at. So that's a quick answer. Bartil, hope that's how you say your name, says, which business model in 2025 with AI? I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, but I'll pop it up. And that's a tough one because you should be selling what your market wants, not what you want. You should never sell what you want. You want to sell what the problem in the market is. So the way in which you would find that or identify that gap of where your prospects are and where they want to be and the vehicle to get them there is through AI. You have something that I didn't have when I first started, which is the opportunity of just asking AI, whether it's Claude, Perplexity, OpenAI, DeepSeek, just say, what are the biggest problems in real estate? What are the biggest problems for investors? What are the biggest problems for lawyers? Whoever you're trying to help, you can pretty much find out everything you need to know about them using AI. So that's what I'd recommend. And then build an AI around that. And ideally just build it as soon as possible. Don't watch YouTube videos. I mean, you may need to watch a YouTube video or two, but just build it for yourself. And then once you have a working prototype, something that works as a concept, you then just reach out to your niche, which is what I spoke about before in terms of experimenting with different stuff to get clients. And eventually you'll find something that works. So yeah, it's a hard question to answer because it's a non-binary one. It's not like do this. And if I just told you to, like, I don't know, sell an AI automation, then I'd be lying because not everyone would benefit from that. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, we have a question here from, there's no way I'm going to pronounce that. It's the Mona Khan. He said, pro tip for landing first paying clients. Same shit. Find out where your niche spends the most time. Build a high position on that platform. So post content, follow people in that niche, build connections, and then just start reaching out. Honestly, just reach out whilst you're doing that shit. And as I said, all you need to do is find one person to say yes, and you can increase the chances of that happening by using the two most powerful words in marketing, which is free and new. If you use those words, you're going to get a lot more people to say yes. So if the problem right now for you is that you just don't have any clients, that probably means you don't have enough positive opportunities in the pipeline, period, right? That's as simple as it gets. So in order to increase that, you want to make it as less friction as possible, right? To get yeses under your belt. So you can do that by offering people very cool and valuable shit for free to get into your ecosystem. Maybe you get them on a call to just, I don't know, customize it for them, whatever the free thing is. And then you can even sell them on that call. It's a way more efficient way of getting, opportunities in the pipeline for you to get your first clients. But as I said, it comes down to where your niche spends the most time. But as a rule of thumb, just get busy doing shit because inputs are the only thing that matter at this stage. So I'll do one more question for you guys. Someone said, do you need a copywriter? Loki, someone's trying to pitch me in the DMs. That's so funny. Yeah, once again, like best automation to learn and sell with zero experience. It depends on who you're helping. I would say in terms of no-code platforms that you can build automations on, just get stuck into make.com or na10.io or Vectorship. These no-code platforms where you can build automations, just sign up, start building some to give yourself a bit of confidence and just overall understanding of like the UI, how it looks, how it is to build one, and then just start reaching out and offering the things that I talked about in the prior 2 answers or 3 answers. So yeah, hopefully hopefully that provided a bit of value for you guys. Right now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some cooking. So I'm gonna cook up some pasta, I think, and I don't know. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Bit of a different one, but definitely subscribe because we're trying to get to 100k subs. I don't know if we're able to do it this year. I really want to achieve it this year. So if you found value or you like my content, just subscribe because it means the world. Most of you aren't subscribed, which hurts me deep down. But yeah, catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy and have an amazing day.